please welcome our guest, Qieer Wang. She's an illustrator and an animator, works primarily in music videos, also for magazines and newspapers as well as an illustrator. She's a couple years out of grad school now and is getting her career started in those fields. So yeah, please welcome our special guest.
So probably we can, do you guys want to start with watching one of my animation?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Good. Yeah, right. So this one is my very first digital animation I've done like 2 years ago. And I always like the moving stuff coming up because it convey more like the flowy feeling, and also your like concept can like represent a better way in the motion. That's my thoughts. So yeah, I mean GIF as a like a format of art is pretty fun to work with. Like it's also like a storytelling, but it's in a very short of time. So you actually need to like design it as good as you can, so that you can convey the idea in a short amount of time. I don't know if you guys do animation or not. How many of you guys do animation?
We're all learning animation in class.
So basically how it works is like I have this image and I will have a version, like a vision of how it's gonna move. So I like separate layers. This guy as one layer, and the other guy, and the third guy, and the hand, and the other two hands. So it's basically this. I will start with something like simple, because you need to like start with something like make your line feel better, and later you can do something complicated. So it's fine.
You work in, what, 12 frames a second? Is that correct?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But sometimes for client, 8.
Yeah. Okay, for 8, okay. That'll save you a lot of time and effort.
Yeah,
right?
right, definitely.
These are all video layers that you're working in, is that right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So right now, I want them to be not moving that much, because compared to them, there's something else. It's gonna move like even crazier. So I don't want them to be like distracting. I mean, for my line work, I don't really care too much about if it's like beautiful, clean, or whatever, because I like that feeling of like a jiggle. Like, yeah, so just feel free to do.
And that's what you're doing right now. You'll do a couple frames of this, and you'll get that wiggly line kind of look.
Exactly, yeah. You gotta like repeat for like a few times.
How many passes, how many layers do you usually do when you're creating this kind of wiggly effects? How many times do you repeat the
3.
drawing? 3?
Yeah, 3
Okay.
for 12 frames. And yeah, if you're gonna do like 18 frames, which I'm doing for my another like independent stuff, I draw like 6 times.
Okay, 6 times for like a nice loop of
Yeah.
wiggly lines.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna be too much, like the wiggle. So I have a little trick, so you can have third one in between, so that you won't get too much of the wiggle. Oops.
Each one of those layers has just one drawing on it, right?
What do you mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
a
just
video
start
layer.
with like one drawing on each layer, and before you add any motion at all, like moving heads or blinking eyes or anything, you create a wiggle. Is that the?
Yeah, it's the first. So yeah, I think we have 3 right now. Let's see. So a little bit. We do this. So basically it's gonna be look like this. And If you guys have any question, you can just ask so that I can talk a little bit as well.
When you're animating something, so I have no idea where this particular thing is going to go, for instance, and you do things. This is personal, right? This is like a personal project.
Yeah.
But you get hired by people to work on music videos and things. Do you know where they're going to go, or are these even your personal pieces or your commercial pieces? Are they like, are you improvising a lot? Or do you really lay out an entire sketch about how to plan out something like this? Like, how planned are these? How much forethought do you put into the animation? I ask that specifically because your animations are fairly abstract. You're not doing like a Disney animation. You're giving a feeling more than you're telling a story.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of curious, like, to what degree do you know when one of your characters is going to blink their eyes or turn their heads, or like, how is that planned?
Yeah, for example, this one. This one is actually for, it's not a personal project, it's for like a treatment in a psychiatric hospital. And we are planning to create a bunch of like therapeutic gifts for the patient to watch instead of watching those TV shows. And this one, I actually have no plan about it right before I get to it. So for example, on the left side, those guys, this feeling is like, just, I can see it, and then I follow the feeling and just do it.
Right.
I can't really explain it, but it's like, I hope it have this kind of feeling of playful and sort of relaxing, or something like fun, funny, and I don't know, and just come up like this.
Did you send them sketches first, or did you just tell them what you're going to do, or did you just give it to them at the end?
I just give it to them.
Give it to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know how long it was going to be?
How long? This?
Yeah.
I have like approximately like under how many frames?
Okay.
Like under 100. That's like basically how it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much of like that or any of your commercial work is you, and how much of it is your client?
Oh, it depends on the client. For example, I did commercial like gifts for I don't know if you guys know them, Artman Nathan Love. It's an animation company, and they want. The boss, he's interesting. He gave me topics like, we want 10 gifts with sparkles, rainbows, boobs, penis, and love. So, okay, those are my sketches, and he said, you can just give it to me. I don't need any in between. So this is my own sketches in progress, and then I do like each gift for like 4 or 3 hours, because it's not really moving. So you just need to create the image, and yeah, we're good to go. And yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. This guy is actually from their trailer. It depends on your clients, definitely. I did something else for clients, but they just said, I did like full version for them right now, and they still not like really satisfied. The first time I tell them, okay, this is my final, and they were like, oh, did you finish it? I was like, yeah. And later, I can show you guys the video. It's for a documentary, like Chinese documentary intro. So this one is the second version. So, as they said, this is too Western for them, like the movement and everything, like a concept-wise. So I did another for them. Yeah.
How do you do corrections on something like that?
They just they think this is too clean. They want something more like sparkly, like I have something more detailed stuff. So I add something in between.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, when you're working in Photoshop and you have to add like in between frames and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
I learned. No.
How do you do that?
I use After Effects.
You use After Effects.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. After Effects is a good thing.
What do you do in After Effects to do that? Out of curiosity.
Well, I just do the drawing on top and have the background like another layer. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you still working on that project for that client, or did they finally like what you produced?
Oh, I'm still working with them because it takes time. They didn't finish their films, but recently I finished another small intro for another like a Chinese film. I don't know. Personally, I don't really like it, but they probably like it. That's why they use it.
Ya no estás más a mi lado, corazón.
Yeah, it's the short one. I mean, this is also like our After Effects. So, I mean, sometimes your clients like standard, it's unpredictable. Like,
So would you say you do work for more commercial, or do you also go into television, like openings for television?
I mean, TV shows.
Yeah,
I wish.
yeah, because like I watch Asian dramas a lot, so like I'm seeing a lot of animation in them.
Yeah. I wish.
It's starting.
Yeah, starting. Just started.
So how do you get? How do these clients find out about you?
Oh,
How do you
like
work?
friends introduce me to them.
Yeah.
Like they need animators and say, "Oh, I know this guy," and
I mean, you worked with the hospital for the gifts.
oh yeah.
You've worked with bands.
Mhm.
You've done some of the film intros. You obviously don't know all those people. They didn't,
Yeah,
you know.
no.
So what's the process? What do you do to get your work out there so that various people can see it? Like, what are some outlets? What are some good outlets for animation, you think, to show your work in front of a wider audience?
Well, I think first of all, you need to work hard and do more and never stop. And probably festivals might help a little bit because I went to one Holland animation festival. They have a lot of interesting people, and you can meet them there and have like great connections. And but since it's really long like distance from here, so it's not really helping at all actually. But the most important part is your friends around you. Like your friends is doing like similar stuff and they know you're good at it. And I don't know, I just very lucky to meet so many like, nice people and they want to just collaborate. Yeah. And sometimes also like get strangers emails and they probably like just want to collaborate with you. Yeah.
I noticed on your Instagram that it seemed like you were working also on like a large scale like illustration, or did you like come from like a illustration background or like a fine art type background, and did you come into animation via like deciding that it was more commercially viable, or did you just prefer it as an art form?
My background is actually, my undergrad was in China, and I was majoring in game illustration, which is like a really realistic. I'm so tired of it. And also I work for like every big semester, like the vacations, like every semester. And after I graduate, I take a year off to work in an animation company, and I do like I don't know what is that. Like I create a project and I write the story and I find the characters, and I do some characters design, and I give this to animators, and we collaborate with it. So this kind of job. But since one time I spent so much energy and so much like time on doing one specific project that I was really interested into, which is like Buddha. Like they want to promote this temple in somewhere around our city. Like nobody knows about it, but inside there's like a whole new like world. So they want to build something out of it, which I think is really awesome. And I make everything for this project, and it's like 80% to go. And suddenly your boss just said, "Okay, let's do some emojis instead of this, because it makes some money." So I was really depressed, and I quit the job and I applied for school. And yeah, I went to MICA for my grad, which is illustration. And we have those bunch of like interesting and not interesting like workshops. And I fall in love with animation when I took the stop motion workshop. I think it's 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And just keep doing it until now. Yeah. And I don't see like format, and I just see those format like what you said, like a big drawing or a digital animation or stop motion or video or whatever. It's just like a tool for whatever you want to say. So recently I am still like doing the big drawing you were mentioning about. It was actually for my new independent animation. It's talking about like insomnia, and I'm creating a scene of like a sexual scene. So I need to have some flowy feeling. So it's like a practice, yeah.
Once you get through this preliminary step with this piece, making all the lines wiggle, what is the next thing? How do you begin to add actual animation, like moving components to it?
It is going to move this hand, because the other two hands, I don't want it to move. And this, it might have a little bit. And the main moving part is the faces.
The face.
Yeah.
So how many video layers do you usually tend to have for something like this?
So I would say, like the line work depends on how many layers you want to have. I personally prefer like doing maybe that not really moving as a one layer, and the other maybe 2 or 3 moving intensely as other layers, and then on top of it I will have like one more color layer, and that's it. Okay. Yeah.
You worked on something a lot more complex recently, which was the music video.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was obviously a lot more of a complex, ambitious thing than. Is that the longest animation you ever worked on? How long did that take to complete altogether?
Like 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope they paid you really well for that.
This is for free.
What?
This is for free.
Yeah.
It's a really good friend, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
But it's also a really good showcase too.
Yeah,
for
right.
animations and ideas.
I love for music.
Are you going to enter that in any festivals or competitions or anything?
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, and they are doing it at the same time, so
Yeah.
so it's better.
Yeah. So we're. What's
when
that?
you say 4 months, how many hours a day?
I can't do like only this because I have other stuff. So it's like, can't say. Like for the first 2 minutes, I spent like 2 weeks on it, and the other, no, I think it's more than that. Probably 1 month, because I do some like color and paint on glass and paint on paper and like a printing stuff. Try something like that, and spend a little bit of time. And the other part, I started like in April and ended up like May or something.
Laying something like that out to music, right? You can't just improvise that.
Yeah, actually, the story should be more complicated than this one, because the other half, I talked with her because I give her my sketches about the original story, but she said she wants something more like simple and just repeating. So yeah, okay, that's like, yeah, I'm good to go. So
But you
yeah,
must have broken down the different movements in the music, right?
Yeah,
Different
right.
segments that you knew
right.
how to assign what segment visually to what part of the music for the flavor and the tone of it, I would imagine, right?
I mean, for animation short, like independent stuff, and compared to music video, it's totally different. Because music video, your focus should be the music. Sorry, should be more on the music part, and your visual is should be like helping
Yeah.
to provide this kind of vibe. Not like, oh, I don't know, if you drag too much attention on the animation, the story, I don't know. It probably could work, but for
Then
now,
it
I
just
think.
becomes a soundtrack for the
Yeah,
animation rather than the
yeah.
animation becoming a visual for the.
But it could go either way, because I used to work. The first animation I showed is like I asked her to compose for
Yeah.
the music. So it's the same idea.
That's sort of like in reverse.
Yeah, right.
She's composing to your work. Now
Yeah,
you're
right.
Illustrating to her composition.
Yeah, so I can't really say it's not good, but
Did you ever have to like actually reach out to get illustration work?
yeah, illustration. Yeah, absolutely.
So
I
what
need
did
to
you-
reach out.
What did you do for that? What was your process for?
Just email them. Like, I just got 2 like small jobs from like Sujing. I don't know if you guys know.
Plan sponsor Sujin Vizelli.
And the other guy, other woman is Pam Lee, John Hopkins Health Review. I know those 2 women in person, so I contact them afterwards. I met them, and they say, "Oh yeah,
So you just met them and then you followed up with them. and
yeah,
asked-
yeah."
So you haven't done like cold emails to like get work.
I did. Like some, I get some small other magazine stuff. Like, I don't know them in person, but I reach out to them. Like, just search their, I don't know, the illustration age, right? It's the email list
Their
still
email
there.
list? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you using that?
Yeah, that's the list
Good
I
to know
use.
that works.
Yeah.
When you're working on the music video, and you're timing things out to the music, are you just going off of what you're hearing, or are you also like following along with the visual, like the sound waves of the audio track, so you can see where things spike and dip?
Oh wow, that's interesting. I never think about that. Like, I put in the audio and see this. No, I never do that. I just basically how we plan out the sketches. Like, we're distant, so we call each other and we listen to the same soundtrack at the same time, and probably I say stop right here. I think I see this vision, and she give me feedbacks. So it's simply like this. Yeah.
When you're drawing on Photoshop, what kind of brushes are you using?
I have my own brush.
Like you make them yourself?
Yep. I have like 10 or less than 10, because I think brushes not that much. Like those, like I like monoprint.
So you made brushes with monoprints?
Actually, I do. Like before you do monoprint, you have to put several papers on top of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my texture.
Oh, so you just copied the texture into a brush.
Yeah, and I like switch it a little bit, like wherever you want.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
If you were to get a request from, let's say, a client that you really wanted to work with, who would that client be?
Adult Swim.
Huh?
Adult Swim.
I think you'd be a good fit for that. That'd be really cool.
Oh, I hope so. But I don't know how to contact them.
What are you looking at now as far as things that are interesting to you? Animation or illustration or anything in general? Like, what do you think is the most exciting thing?
I got one more exciting thing about, like, because I've been exploring the mental health project for quite a long time. I want to give it like a small ending for now, like, but this ending could be like 5 years later, because this project is pretty tough if without anybody's help. So it's like a VR animation. It's also like interactive stuff, and I will create like 3 or 2 characters in this VR environment, and they have like a program already. Like you can animate this character in 3D stuff, and then I want to build like a robot based on the character inside the VR at the same like spot, which is practical as well. So probably I will use Arduino to make the inside and make the use the what is that? Another sort of material, and forgot the name, but it exists, and to be the skin, and maybe the third layer I could do some like fur or whatever stuff like that, and just make it more real. And so I need like I need this viewer to contact, like you talk with this robot in the VR environment, and he will learn how you talk and talk to you back. So it's like a private talk, and whenever he feels something, he may touch you, and you will feel the touch because I have the robot there, and he may give you a hug as well. You will feel like this, like a distance is like different because you see something which is in VR, but you feel it's like a real. So and also I think that's the basic idea of it. And there's other part of like a smell design and the sound design, and yeah, there's a lot like around it. But this is the core.
Excellent. Really cool. And what's in the future for you? What are you really looking to go with the kind of work that you're doing outside of the VR? But where do you, like, career-wise? You're doing a lot of independent work right now. You've got a cool music video. You're doing a little bit of illustration. But you've been at it for like just a couple years. And so future-wise, where do you see things going, or where do you want, if you could control it, to go?
Excuse me. First of all, I definitely still want to keep going with animation part, like video stuff, and also exploring 3D stuff. Because I used to know Maya and 3D Max, but I forgot. But I think that could be really cool. And I'm really into like text stuff, like VR, or more than, I don't know, like interactive stuff. So like together. And probably, I don't know, but probably I'm interested into doing more fine art stuff, like what I just said, like more interactive. And I just want to tell something, like send some message. Not only just making cute, beautiful images. I think everybody can do that.
So we can wrap this up right now. And everyone thank Qieer for sharing so much with us today.
Thank you.